Haribo to all my brothers and my sisters, and welcome back to Astral Motivation. Today, we're going to be talking about and preparing ourselves for Mercury Retrograde. Mercury Retrograde is here. And if you are new to the channel, welcome to Astral Motivation. Here we talk all Vedic astrology and all Vedic lifestyle. So if you're into any of those things, definitely hit the subscribe button and the notification bells in order for you to never miss any nectar. All right, guys, let's see what we have for this upcoming Mercury retrograde from August 24th to September 15th of 2023.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda.
Alrighty, guys. So first and foremost, we need to talk about what is Mercury and what does Mercury rule, okay? Because Mercury is a very important planet. He's the prince, okay? He's always close to the sun, very, very close to the sun. And even though it's a small planet, is very mighty and it travels incredibly fast and it rules everything that has to do with communication, our nervous system, transportation, transferring information, data, anything that has to do with learning. Buddha, which is the Sanskrit name for Mercury, is the one that rules our intelligence. Okay, now also Mercury doesn't necessarily have a gender. It's a very androgynous energy. So whoever Mercury is hanging out with, if it's hanging out with a positive planet or a negative planet, Mercury is going to adopt those energies. Mercury also brings a lot of intellectualism and it brings us a lot of understanding of the mind and everything that has to do with communication and understanding. So when we have Mercury moving forward, all these things are flowing in our lives. But Mercury goes retrograde 4 times a year. And we're about to have Mercury going retrograde on August 24th to September 15th in the sign of Leo. So when Mercury goes retrograde, this is a time where we need to be extra cautious, because this is a time where our intelligence, the planet that rules our intelligence, is not at its best capacity at this time, is moving backwards. And when we have this retrograde motion, we have an inner impact that is stronger than when the planets are moving direct. So Mercury, when it moves retrograde, this is a time where everything that has to do with communications and technology, we need to bring more patience, because Mercury will bring issues around technology, communication, contracts, understanding. This is not the time for you to make a life-changing decision. This is a time for you to reevaluate. This is such an important time in your life that the planet itself, Mercury, is literally going to retrograde to be able to reevaluate something of great importance to your evolution, to your spiritual evolution. Therefore, Mercury has to go back in certain degrees, go back in certain nakshatras, go back in a certain sign, go back in a certain house of your horoscope for you to be able to really master this lesson and move to the next cycle of your life. And Mercury is really representing this. And right now we are having so much tumultuous energy. Of course, we have also Venus in retrograde. So right now when Mercury goes retrograde, we're going to have 2 very important planets, Venus and Mercury, both moving backwards, bringing a lot of understanding. This is a time for us to really understand within, how am I communicating? How is my relationships? How is my intelligence, my intelligence in relationships? How do I communicate in my most important relationships? Is going to be very, very powerful at this time. And so when Mercury goes retrograde, beware because there will be issues around technology. You're going to have to be patient. Things may be broken. Things may be coming apart. This is the perfect time for you to take the car to the shop, for you to fix that computer, for you to fix that electronic thing that you haven't fixed in a while, for you to maybe go over that thing you were going to turn in, for you to not force the project to be launched, but maybe to go over something that you need to go over before launching it. Therefore, you will have the auspiciousness. Use the energies in your favor. If you decide to launch something during Mercury retrograde or making a life-changing decision during this time, you may regret it later on. Now, let's talk about Mercury retrograde in the sign of Leo, because this is where we're going to be seeing Mercury retrograding. It will be in the sign of Leo. Now, Leo is a very important sign because Leo is the sign that is ruled by the sun, and the sun is the king. Therefore, Leo is the kingdom. It's where the kingdom lies. It's where the king resides. And right now, the sun at this time is at the first degrees of Leo at the beginning of this transit, but then is going to be going into the sign of Virgo later on. So this is a very powerful time, my beautiful brothers and sisters. This is a time for us to really see the kingdom within ourselves and reevaluate our kingdom. So when Mercury goes retrograde in the sign of Leo, this is a time where we are really reevaluating and going over, are we really shining our truest, most vibrant light? Because Leo is the energy of showcasing your light. Leo is the energy of allowing your specialness, your Atma, your light to shine and be brilliant and inspire others and lead by the heart, lead by this inspiration. This is where Leo is at his highest energy, when the kingdom and the king are righteous and everything falls into place. So Leo in our charts is extremely important to our growth and what we are trying to cultivate in our lives. And so when we have Mercury in Leo, be prepared to have a very, very powerful opinions, okay? This is not the time where you're going to be backing up on your word. This is a time where you're going to be speaking and speaking it loud. Now, be cautious with, the only thing I would say be cautious with in your communication is arrogance and pride. Arrogance and pride will work against you. So be very, very cautious with a Mercury retrograding in Leo, that you don't sound arrogant, that you don't sound cocky, that you don't sound self-centered, that you don't sound prideful, okay? Because this is the detriment of Leo. Now, if you use your communication for righteousness, for declaring your truth, your authenticity, for you to be warm and almost like a host to others, and for you to allow your light to shine through your communication, then this is a fantastic time for you to allow this to come back into your life. Now, also, we're going to be having Mercury in Leo, Mercury retrograde in Leo, retrograding from the degrees of 27 degrees of Leo to 13 degrees of Leo. And then it's going to start moving forward once again. So right in the heart of Leo, we're going through a transformation of perception around our pride and around our arrogance. Where is that pride and arrogance that doesn't allow us for us to really go to the next level of our lives, for us to be able to really ascend to the next phase of what we are trying to achieve? This is a very important thing, and it has to do with the future of your life and your kingdom that you are building at this time. So now let's talk about the aspects that we're going to be having, and we're going to pull the chart here so that you guys can follow along with me. And remember that if you guys would like to get your horoscopes for this upcoming month of September, then definitely check out my exclusive content here in the description below of my Patreon. All right, guys, so let's check out the chart here. Sorry about that. So here we have the chart, and I put Leo as the ascendant here of the main energies that we are working with during this time. Now, we are having Leo. Leo is going to be very active. It's going to have the sun here, and it's going to have Mercury as well. And during the time of the 9th of September, which is when Venus is going to move forward, when she's going to start moving direct, we're going to be having the combustion of Mercury. Yes, combustion. So combustion means that a planet is too close to the sun and therefore it's going to burn it. So the planet feels a little burned. So beware. During September 4th until September 15th, we may have a lot of indecision. Our mind is not working very well. We could become very irritable very easily. We can have very strong reactivities, especially if we allow our pride to get in the way. If we want to prove something and our egos get on the way, then we may definitely speak and react in a very aggressive and rude way. And this is not going to work in our favor, especially because Venus is also retrograde. So anything that is not polite and diplomatic, Venus will definitely bring a backlash to that situation. So during September 4th on, we need to be extra cautious to not react aggressively, to not respond in a rude and aggressive way, and to really bring a lot of patience to our life. If you feel like you're like, oh my God, but I feel so constricted, I highly suggest that you use the creative outlets or sports outlets that Leo so much loves, and that could be a way for you to really just channel all that frustration and to release it, and then you can have a better conversation afterwards. This is going to be very, very important because not only is Venus, Mercury combust during this time, giving us a little bit more of a intense situation, but we also have Saturn aspecting Mercury as well. And that is the reason why I'm saying, guys, we need to approach this in a very mature way. Because if we approach this in a very reactive way and prideful way, and, I do whatever I want and I say whatever I want, and we just kind of have this attitude, we may end up having more major problems later on because Saturn is going to be watching us, watching our communication, watching the way that we express ourselves, watching the way that we communicate towards our friends and towards our networks of people. Saturn doesn't necessarily want you to not shine your light. Saturn just wants you to shine your light in a way that is in the favor for everybody, in the benefit of everyone, because that's when you're shining your purest light. It is a benefit for everybody. So that is where Saturn is really taking us here. Now, Mercury is going to have this combustion. Mercury is also going to be having this, we got to be very, very adult and very mature in handling our communications with others here with Saturn. And we are also having the aspect of Jupiter as well. So that's a benefic. We are having the Jupiter aspecting as well with Mercury, which is going to bring a lot of benefit as well. This is where our wisdom can come in, okay? So it's a back and forth. But if we walk that straight line of saying the right thing and not getting reactive about things and acting in a mature way, great. And acting with wisdom and in the benefit of everybody, even better. That is how we're really going to thrive during this time. And those are the lessons that we're going to be having during this upcoming time. Now, these aspects, we are also, eventually the sun will move out from here, from Leo into Virgo. And eventually Mercury, after it goes through this passage of Mercury retrograde, it will go into Virgo, which is its exaltation. This is where the work starts getting really real. So right now is the light, the vision. Are you living small or are you living grand? Are you living your life small or are you ready to really step into your greatness, into your kingdom, into your queendom? Okay, and that is what Mercury is really trying to show us and get our mind in the game around this time. So there's 3 major nakshatras that Mercury is also going to be traveling through. The 3 major nakshatras are Uttara Falguni, Purva Falguni, and Magha. These are all the nakshatras of Leo. Now, Uttara Falguni has to do a lot with our relationships, has to do a lot with our way of communication, especially in our love relationships. And so this is where the test is going to really be, because Uttara Falguni is also ruled by the sun, and the sun here is in its very dignified energy. And so we need to be cautious of communicating with pride, communicating with jealousy, getting into fights with our loved ones, getting into fights in our marriage or in our partnerships, because of ego clashes, because of ego fights, and because we want to have the last word. So be cautious during this time with this nakshatra. Then is going to be stepping into Purva Falguni. And Purva Falguni, which is going to be most of the transit is going to be during this Purva Falguni. Purva Falguni is a very beautiful nakshatra of a lot of beauty, a lot of expression, a lot of creative, the desires that we have in our life and how we want to create from that beauty, and how we like to have fun, and how we like to enjoy ourselves, and how we like to express ourselves. Purva Falguni is very, very important. And this nakshatra is actually also ruled by Venus. But we have to be cautious because Venus is also retrograding at this time. So Venus is going to be giving us a little bit of, a little bit of a challenge there. So we need to be patient with ourselves. We need to be patient with the Mercury retrograde that is going to be happening during this time. During this time, there could be a reassessment on the way that we have fun. Because maybe in the way that we have fun, or what we consider what we enjoy, may actually be harming us more than it does good for us. So for example, let's say, you love to drink, and drinking eventually is not something good for you. Or maybe every single time you go out and you want to have fun, you feel like you have to drink, or you have to drink alcohol. And this is eventually deteriorating your health and not being good for you. This is just an example of the many ways that we feel like we are having fun doing something, but in reality, it could be detrimental to ourselves, to our advancement, and to our growth. And so here, when Mercury goes into Purva Falguni, Mercury wants us to really reassess, how do we have fun? And is this really healthy for me? Because there could be a way of having fun like doing sports. Great. This is very healthy for the body. This is very healthy for you. But if you're doing sports with, revenge modes or hating people, like what is the mood behind? All of these things need to be assessed. That the way that you're having fun, they're really truly in alignment with your most authentic self. And also this will be a benefit for the way that you express your love, and you express your creativity, and you express your light, and you express your creative outlets. Maybe some of you guys have abandoned certain projects that were very creative projects that you came up with or that you want to work on, and because of life, you haven't really finish the work. So this Mercury retrograde is also helping you to finish those creative projects or those creative ideas that have been left there without doing it. So very, very amazing time for Mercury and Purva Falguni. Then by the end of the transit, we're going to be having Mercury going into Maga. And this is where we need to be the most cautious, because Maga is ruled by Ketu. And Ketu is the planet of renunciation. And it's three houses away from this Mercury retrograde. So this could be a time where there could be a lot of mental turmoil, anxiety, panic, stress. We could be going through a lot of these things, especially if we don't do our spiritual practices, and especially if we don't practice any detachment. When Mercury goes into Maga, we can really feel the heaviness of that. So very important time during this Mercury retrograde, guys, is looking really powerful, and at the end is here to really help us reassess and heal our inner light and to allow it for it to shine. It's not like our light needs help. It's more of how we covered our light throughout the time. It's time for us to uncover our light, uncover these fears, uncover these things so that our light can really shine and we can allow ourselves to truly express what we truly want to express. And this will transform our kingdom in a whole. Now, let's talk about the remedies, guys, because of course I got remedies for you guys. It is extremely, extremely important that we do some sort of remedies during this time because the energies are going to be extremely heavy. And I do suggest that you do this remedy along with the Venus retrograde remedy in my Venus retrograde video. So one of the best remedies that I most love is chanting mantras. Chanting mantras is extremely powerful and is such a wonderful way to transform your whole life and your whole world. It's been scientifically proven that when you chant mantras, you start tapping into the quantum physics realm pretty much. So you can chant this mantra. The mantra that we have right here is the mantra of Mercury. And when you chant this mantra, especially if you chant it on a Wednesday, wearing the color green. Wednesday is the day of Mercury. Green is the color of Mercury. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can fast during this day. A fast can be as easy as, you make an oath that you're not going to be eating meat during this day of Wednesday or during this week. Or, you make an oath that you are not going to be eating certain grains, things like this. This could be the fast that you do. It doesn't have to be an extreme fast. Do one that really you can do, And usually I like to chant, obviously, in malas. This is a japa bead made out of tulsi beads, but you can get malas from any type. So this mantra, if you do it 108 times, especially on Wednesdays, wearing the color green is going to be extra auspicious for you guys. And the way that the mantra goes is Om Brum Brim Brum Sabudaye Namaha. Om Brum Brim Brum Sabudaye Namaha. And you can keep repeating it, repeating it, repeating it. And this is definitely going to make Mercury very, very happy with you. And Mercury will bring away that inauspiciousness in your life doing this chanting, and it's going to be very, very, very good. So this is one of my favorites. The other ones, as I mentioned, wearing the color green on Wednesdays, doing some fast on Wednesdays. This is going to be very important. Also, it could be a great time for maybe donating your time to teach others. This is also something that makes Mercury very, very happy. All right, guys. So those were the remedies for this Mercury retrograde. And now, as always, you guys know that I love to do a little Vedic Oracle. And in this Vedic Oracle, we can really go deep into understanding the collective energies of this Mercury retrograde. Now, I highly suggest that you go check out my Patreon, my exclusive content in the description here below. There you can find my a deeper horoscope on this Mercury retrogrades and on the months for each individual sign for your ascendant sun and moon sign. Alrighty, so let's see. What is the collective message that we have for this Mercury retrograde in Leo from August 24th to September 15th? I'm going to give you those. Oh, I love this. All right. So first and foremost, we have planning and patience. This is like the card of Mercury retrograde, okay? Planning and patience. These are the two main words of this Mercury retrograde. We're going to be patient with our growth, patient with what is happening, and we're going to plan. Not the time to execute, it's the time to plan. So we're going to plan for success, because then when Mercury goes into Virgo, oh yeah, that's when we get the work done really, really, really fast, okay? That's when we go into super mode of hustle, okay? So this is the time for planning, and this is a time for patience, for you to build the foundations and the achievements that you really want to build in your life. That solid foundation, those solid achievements that are going to be with you forever. And this is so important. It requires this planning. It requires your patience. This is something that it's being lost now. You know, we want the instant gratification. And so if we don't have the instant gratification, we think that it's not for us or it's not going to happen. But in reality, life is all about effort. And especially when we're dealing with Mercury energy, it's all about effort. And so make sure that you don't the effort is going to be paid off, okay? You can do something for a long time and it's not going to be like nothing's going to give fruit, like something's going to come out of that. So patience and planning will bring you to building that foundation and that achievement that you can have. Now, the caution is you need to be able to move on. Some of you guys are having a little bit of a hard time moving on from something. And this is the reason why Mercury and Venus are both retrograding at this time. Because there is something that emotionally is not fulfilling you. And this could be in your job. It could be in your relationship. It could be in your money situation. Something that is not completely emotionally fulfilling you. And you're having a really hard time letting it go. So I just want to pull one last card to see what is the best advice for that? What is the best advice for this Six of Swords in reverse? What is the best advice? Because we have to release this toxicity. Whoa. Like, the best advice is close the chapter. Like, let this cycle close fully. You are ready to ascend to the new thing. Like, this is about some sort of toxicity that keeps living on, that needs to be addressed and that needs to be released. And this will close a huge cycle and it will bring a major accomplishment in your life. Very powerful. Now, I wanted to pull some cards of the things that are not being said at this time. This is a deck that I created for Mercury retrograde of the things that sometimes in love we just don't communicate, okay? So I'm going to pull 3 messages and take the ones that resonate, leave the ones that don't. But there is some messages here, something that is not being said, that wants to come out, that wants to be expressed. I forgive you. I love this. I forgive you. Somebody wants to forgive you. You want to forgive somebody. But this is something in Mercury retrograde that wants to come through. And maybe this is the challenge with that Leo energy of pride, that we can fully forgive as human beings. We also have the message, I don't know how to make it up to you. We also have this message. For some of you guys, there could be this message of somebody trying to tell you, I don't know how to make it up to you, or they don't know, or you don't know how to make it up to somebody. In this situation, this could be the person that wants forgiveness from you as well. And last but not least, the message of, I am trying to fix you. So very cautious with this concept of fixing somebody else. We may be in these relationships trying to fix somebody and wanting to be fixed as well, or wanting to be saved as well. Whoa, that thing, did you guys see how that thing just blew out? Okay, so what do we need to? We need to surrender to miracles. This is the card that blew out. Surrender to miracles. Be open to the miracles occurring in your life. Feel and know that these events are real. Let go of any resistance and banish any doubt that miracles can happen in your life. You are ready for a miracle in your life. Surrender to inner peace, okay? And surrender to joy. Seek inner peace and seek inner joy during this Mercury retrograde. That's why I was talking about fun before, okay? Alrighty. Oh, but last but not least, I want to leave you guys with a self-care. What is the best self-care that we can do during this Mercury retrograde? The best self-care that we can do during this Mercury retrograde, and it is music. Well, there you have it, guys. This will be fantastic. Playing music, singing music, listening to music, dancing to music. Music could be extremely healing during this Mercury retrograde. Alrighty, my beautiful brothers and sisters, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for all your support, your likes, your comments, and for sharing this video with your loved ones. It really helps the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I really hope that you guys have a wonderful Mercury retrograde.